Hello friends and welcome back to the channel. You know what time it is. Update time once again in the Battle Realm, and I am back with everything that you need to know about the February 2025 update for MCOC. Let's jump right in, starting off with number 1, the brand new champions for February, which are Arnim, Zola, and Falcon, Joaquin, Torres. So I actually got to play with both of these champs a little bit way back in December when I was in Vancouver for the Creator Summit. I'm incredibly excited about Arnim Zola in particular. His animations are fantastic. His run-in animation, which I don't think they showed in the reveal video earlier this week, one of the funniest looking animations I think I've seen. Really excited for him. I have a Tech Awakening gem that I pulled from the Karina challenges, so if I go for him from featured crystals, I'll have a way to awaken him right away, which would be cool. Now, I don't know much about the new Falcon character. I understand that the MCOC version of the character kind of leans heavily into the comic version. So he has like some vampiric abilities and whatnot, and he's like a Falcon-human hybrid apparently. So hopefully I will learn a bit more about him as the month progresses. By the way, I can't believe that we are already at 300 champions. I feel like we were just celebrating 250 like last week or something. Anyways, Falcon being the 300th champion seems to indicate that Zola will be first next month. And obviously they don't really like to confirm that, but I expect that Zola will be first for next month. So looking forward to getting him right away. Number 2, there is a brand new Everest quest dropping in February called the Epic of Pain, where it will have all 24 of the seasonal Everest fights from last year and a brand new boss who's going to be Ares, who was teased earlier in the Deathless Thanos trailer. So I'm not really sure about the structure of the event, the quest itself rather. The way I see it, there's probably going to be like 3 options. They could do like one long path with a team of 5 champs. They could do one long path with a team of 3 champs, but you get some swap nodes periodically. Or they could do like 4 paths, one for each season, but that would mean you'd have to fight Ares 4 times. So not really one preferable option among those, I think. And as for the Ares boss, I really can't say much, but I know this will probably come up in the comments, but I have absolutely no idea if Ares is going to be a playable champ at any point. For the moment, it seems like the answer is no, right? Because he's just going to be a boss in this Epic of Pain quest. But maybe they'll save him and add him to like the trophy champ list a la Jessica Jones or Weapon X, and he'll be like a rare drop somewhere down the line. But for the moment, I think you should expect him to just be a boss and not be a playable character. There will not be a boss guide on day 1 for Ares. We did not get a beta for him, and I think that they want him to be a boss kind of in the vein of like the Nameless Grandmaster, so everybody kind of has to get to him and like figure out how to play him on their own. So unfortunately, no boss guide available for Ares on day 1. If I get through the Epic of Pain quest relatively quickly, I will probably consider doing one, but it won't be out probably for a few days, if that. So number 3, Incursions are returning with the Deathless Saga sector. Now, Saga Incursions come around every few months, and I really think that they have settled into a good place ever since Kabam dropped the requirement from 25 zones down to 15. They've become much more enjoyable. And this Saga in particular, the champion pool is really strong. A lot of very good champions available in the pool for Incursions in particular. Sentry is one of them who is probably going to be the champion that I'm going to do my run with. Sentry, really strong in Incursions. Rewards, as usual, will be Deathless Sig Stones and a rank up gem. This will probably be a rank 2 gem. Don't get your hopes up for a rank 3 gem for 15 Incursion zones. But either way, looking forward to doing some Incursions with a buddy next month. Number 4 is the True Bromance Battlegrounds event. So for all you BGs nerds out there, the preseason, or the off-season rather, is going to have solo objectives and a special solo event that will award crystals, profile pics, emotes, and more. So I'm going to be totally honest, I am not thrilled about this. As you guys know, if you watch my channel, I play as little Battlegrounds as possible. And one of the best decisions I think Kabam made when they added the BG's off-season was to only offer like minimal rewards. So they didn't really discourage you if you actually took the off-season off And, the majority of people who play in the off-season are playing for fun or playing it just to practice with the upcoming nodes. But now that they've added rewards to the off-season itself, it seems to be like a reversal of that stance. And I sincerely hope that this is like a one-time thing, because I really don't want to be feeling like I need to be playing Battlegrounds every day during the season and the off-season. That's not a place that I want to be in with this game mode. But if you are big into Battlegrounds, you'll probably be playing this anyways, and these objectives and soul event will probably be no big deal for you. All right, number 5, this is a really big one. A brand new event called the Premium Crystal Parade will start in February, which will include featured crystals for Luke Cage, Nova, and the Hood. But the catch is that the crystals in this event are going to be used to test a brand new pity system. Now, pity systems are pretty standard in other gacha games, and I think to this point, Kabam has really resisted adding it into MCOC. So if you're unfamiliar with what a pity system is, it basically says that, every time you open a crystal and get like one of the lower tier rewards, your chances of getting the higher tier rewards increase with each crystal, and eventually if you open enough, you are actually guaranteed the highest available reward in the crystals. So I'm not exactly sure how it's going to be implemented with the featured crystals. Will the guaranteed drop be a 7-star version of these champions? That seems possible, given that they're only doing it with a pool of 3. They've been kind of leaning towards something like this for a while. If you recall, they've been doing like those web store tracks. They did them for Nefaria, and they did them for Jack-O-Lantern, where you go to the web store, if you spend a specific amount of money in the store, they give you the 7-star version of that champ, the brand new champ, right away. So I'd expect that the number of crystals that you would have to open in this event to guarantee a 7-star version of Luke or Nova or Hood will probably cost you a similar amount, which I believe was like $500. So it's definitely not going to be cheap. But maybe since these characters are not brand new champions and have been available as 7 stars for a minute or two, the cost for that will be a little bit lower. But either way, I'm kind of interested to see where this goes. I suspect that if this event is popular, we might see that pity system implemented into more crystals in the game going forward. But we'll have to wait and see on that one. Number 6 is what they're calling the Daily Super Event 2.0. Nothing is functionally changing with the event. I'm not really sure why it's a 2.0, but they are changing just the presentation of it. So Kabam is adding some sort of widget to the home screen that is supposed to make it easier to access your progress in the Daily Super Event. Now, I haven't seen what this looks like, but I'm going to tell you, I'm pretty sure I'm never going to use this, because I never check my progress in the Daily Super Event. I feel like I always complete it every day without even trying, and the rewards automatically go to my stash where I just claim them as I need them. So this might be useful if you are struggling to complete the event every day. I feel like most people are probably not going to use this. They do say that they're going to add things like flash offers and your stash and the calendars to that new navigation area. So like that bottom right area on the home screen where there's kind of that awkward slider with the buttons on it. I think that's just going to be replaced with like one navigation widget. So we'll see what it looks like. But for, in terms of the Daily Super Event itself, I probably am not going to use it, much if ever. All right, number 7, this is a really big one and guaranteed to ruffle some feathers. Power back boosts are getting a nerf starting in February. Now, if you don't know how power back boosts work, you slap one on your champ, and then depending on how much damage your champ does with either their special 2 or their special 3, they are automatically refunded a certain amount of power. This is used a lot in high tier war. People like to nuke through onslaughts with Hulkling and power back boosts where they can just spam a special 2 over and over again. And in particular, Professor X is comically broken with power back boosts, and in many fights in war with Professor X, you get him up to a special 3, you activate mind control, and then you can just use your special 3 over and over and over again, and the defender can't do anything about it. So starting in February, the power that you get back from a power back boost will be capped at 50% of the power spent on the special attack. So for a special 3, you'll be getting back 1.5 bars max, and for a special 2, you'll be getting 1 bar back. So in other words, you will no longer be able to get enough power back from a special attack to use that same special attack again right away without comboing and building up your power a different way. So in addition, this is also going to affect champions like Professor X who have built-in power efficiency. So using him as an example here, during Mind Control, Professor X's specials cost 70% less power, which means if you use your special 3 in Mind Control, you'll spend 30% of your total power and you'll only get 15% back. So he won't be able to spam his special 3 constantly, but it will leave him at what, like 85% total after that first special 3. So he still will be powerful, but I don't think he'll be broken, which is probably the goal here. The last thing I want to note with these is that going forward, the boosts will be immune to ability power rate modifications. So this means that effects like Petrify or Wither will no longer affect the amount of power that you get back from a power back boost. Now your champion's ability power rate will still be subject to these effects, but the boosts themselves won't be. So just an important distinction there. I'm really curious to see how this change goes over. You know, historically, the community has been allergic to any kind of nerf, and I suspect that even people who have never used a power back boost once in their life will probably be big mad about this. I think it's mostly going to affect people in high tier war, so like tiers 1 through 3 probably. I don't really see these used many other places in the game. People have been using them to like cheese the Orochi boss with Magneto, so you won't be able to do that anymore. But in questing, I don't really see these used as commonly as they are in war. But I may be totally wrong about that. It is, it's been a while since I have used a power back boost anywhere else other than in war. So maybe I'm totally off my rocker there. Let me know in the comments below if you use these or rely on these for any content in the game. Last but certainly not least is this month's extensive list of bug fixes. As usual, we will cover a few of them, and then if you want to look at the whole list, you can either pause the video or head on over to the official site where they will be listed on the blog post. So let's start off with this one here. Reminded Toad that his tongue can canonically stretch 30 feet, and he has decided to throw his special 1 more freely as a result. So I think this is a response to that seasonal Everest fight with Toad, where nobody was seemingly able to get him to throw his special 1 with any type of consistency. And I remember there was a lot of discussion in that fight in particular about how like Toad's medium, it like stops him short, similar to like Baron Zemo, and that was affecting the spacing and affecting the AI's bias towards throwing a special 1. So if they just tuned up the special 1 bias, hopefully that fixes the issue. Would have liked this to have been implemented, closer to when that boss was in the game, but I guess better late than never. All right, number 2 is this one here. Reworked Medusa's auto block to behave more closely to before her buff. So since Medusa was buffed, was that November, December, something like that? Her auto block has not been functioning correctly. So even a max sig Medusa who has a 100% chance to auto block with 3 or more Furies was not successfully triggering that auto block against certain types of attacks. So they have reworked it, and it should now behave similarly or the same way that it did before her buff. So that's a huge change, good change for Medusa. Big shout out, by the way, to number 1 Medusa fan, Cat Murdoch, who I think reported this bug and pushed to have it fixed. All right, number 3, speaking of Medusa, fixed an issue where Arcade was not reducing the accuracy of true effects in signature abilities. So this affects Medusa in particular because she gains that true accuracy via her signature ability. Whenever she places Armor Shattered, she gets like a 31 or 32 second true accuracy, and that's supposed to bypass auto block. However, Arcade has an ability where he is reducing the ability accuracy of those effects by 100%. So you are, he's designed for you to use Undermine or Unblockable to bypass his auto block. So currently, and for the past, month or 2, you have been able to bypass Arcade's auto block with Medusa, and you're not really supposed to. So that will be fixed going forward. We've seen that used in war already this season, where people are using Medusa, who is a tactic champ this season, to get around some tricky Arcade placements. So starting in February, you won't be able to do that anymore. All right, number 4 is this one here. Fixed an issue with Deadpool X-Force building slap charges too quickly by interrupting auto run. And then apparently Deadpool has added his own commentary here. So this one is a tough one to describe, but if you're familiar with how Deadpool X-Force works, when you let him like walk up to the defender, he builds those slap charges, right? But apparently if you interrupted the auto run by like tapping the block button, you could infinitely build up these slap charges in like one walk up to the defender. Which allows him to get to his like big damage on the special 1 and the special 2 a lot more quickly. So that is being fixed. I'm not sure anybody even knew that this existed, or if they did, it's probably the timing on it is probably so tight that it's very difficult to pull off consistently. But I'm sure there's 1 or 2 people out there who have already mastered how to do this, and for those people, sorry about your loss. All right, last one I want to cover is this one here, Rebuilt Sentry's Halt debuff to more closely match the behavior of grit effects. Now, in particular, this is going to make the Halt debuff function correctly with a striker. So today, if you have an unstoppable defender, you put the Halt debuff on them with Sentry, and then they are, they don't react as if they were unstoppable. However, if you use your striker, the Halt debuff's effects kind of go away. The debuff remains, but they are still unstoppable for the striker, and then they can trigger their block on the striker, and then you're going to get punished when the striker ends and your champion resumes. So going forward, when you have a Halt debuff on the defender, they will still react as if they weren't unstoppable for your striker, which allows you then to continue your combos. So a huge positive change for Sentry. All right, folks, that's going to do it for another huge month of updates in MCOC. Let me know in the comments below what you are most excited about coming to the game in February. I think for me, Arnim Zola probably at the top of that list. I had so much fun playing with him back in December, and I've kind of had to keep quiet about him since then. I'm really, really excited to finally see him come into the game. The Epic of Pain quest promises to keep us busy, and our revive stash is low. Actually excited to get back into Saga Incursions again, and I'm really curious how this brand new pity system is going to play out next month as well. So regardless, let me know again in the comments below. Be sure to hit like and subscribe if you haven't already so that you don't miss out on the next video. And as always, thank you very much for watching. We'll see you again next time.